another episode of The Sweet Science of Chocolate, where everything we're talking about is all things chocolate. We are so excited to be back with another episode for you. This is Maya.
And this is Christy. Hey, before we start this episode today, would you please click on the subscribe button below and hit the bell. That way we can update you as soon as our new episodes come out and you can show us a little bit of love. So, hey, on today's episode, Christy is telling me we are making dark chocolate truffles. However, we're using avocados, which I was a little skeptical of because I'm like, does it taste like avocado?
No.
Does it turn green?
No.
All right, take it away.
It is delicious. So today, on this episode, we are making dark chocolate avocado truffles. And we're going to use 2 avocados and 20 ounces of dark chocolate. That's all you need. We're using the avocados to replace the heavy cream, which is normally in truffles. So the fat content in the avocados is allowing this recipe to really work. It's also a great way to use up some of your avocados that are sitting around that are getting a little too ripe. And it's a great way to turn a truffle into a healthy treat for your family.
Yeah, we all like to hide vegetables.
Exactly.
For our kids. And if they don't know that it's in there, because they won't be able to taste it, and then you will think, okay, at least they're getting some vegetables and not just eating junk all day. So, what are we doing now? Like, what's the next step that we do?
So we have this whole bowl of avocados. Basically what we need are 2 medium-sized avocados that are ripe. So what you're looking for with the avocado is when you press on it, that you can gently, that the flesh underneath will give a little. You can also, this is a little trick I was told once, is you can actually pull this little butt thing out of the avocado and you can stick a toothpick in it. And if it goes in easily, then your avocado's ripe.
There's a toothpick.
Totally not recommending that you go to the grocery store with a toothpick and start doing this.
But you can do it at home.
Yes. So then you would know, because a lot of times you don't want to sit and push on it, because if you push you push the skin in, then you create an air pocket. And so then when you cut your avocado open, that's where you start to get those like little brown spots on your avocado. So this one looks great, and this one looks great. So all I'm going to do is take my knife. I'm going to slice down, be careful where your hand is, and I'm just going to go all the way around the avocado. And just give it a little twist, and I got that.
Let's scoop it out.
I don't even think we need to waste a spoon.
You don't?
No.
Oh, you do the squeeze.
So we are just going to take this, again, watch where your hand is, give it a little twist. I have this little food prep, and I like to use this because I want to get the avocado as pureed as possible. I found that if you just use a fork and you mash it, that you still get some little chunks. And this, you cannot hide the avocado from your kids if they bite into the truffle and there's a little chunk.
Yeah. Truffles should be smooth and creamy because we're replacing the heavy cream.
So I'm just pushing it in here. I don't want to create any more dishes to do, so that's why I would not let Maya use this.
There we go. And I think we're always looking for great ways to engage our kids in things, and especially when it was COVID and they were out of school, how we can get them to do stuff and not be bored, and just like do stuff or that they would have fun with. And if they ever have a play date or something, this is a great thing to do. You can easily set it up, and then we'll give you tips on how to decorate it at the end.
Yeah. So the recipe that we have on our blog is actually using 2 avocados and 20 ounces of dark chocolate. Today we're going to use just 1 avocado and 10 ounces of dark chocolate, and that's going to make about 20 truffles. You could even cut that in half and use half an avocado and 5 ounces of chocolate and make 10 truffles. It's that simple. I love how you can take the recipe and go from small to a large quantity without any problem.
And then if you do any sort of freezing, a great way to freeze something is put those in the fridge real quick, get them a little bit hard, or you can just flash freeze them in your freezer. And then, I mean, it's best if you individually wrap them with saran wrap, but if you don't want to, then just like take your saran wrap and kind of make a pleat in it so they're not all touching, and put it in a Ziploc bag. And even if you have like a little straw, take the Ziploc bag, zip it as much as possible, put the straw in at the end, and try to suck out as much air as you can.
God, you've just created a human...
to do it, yeah, if you don't have a food sealer. So a lot of people have food sealers, but that's a great way, and those things will keep a year.
Yeah, even with the avocado in it.
Yeah. The only thing is that you want to take it out when you freeze it, take it out at least an hour before, or let's say 2 hours, 1 hour in the fridge, and then 1 hour on the counter before you serve it. Otherwise, they're going to taste freezy.
Yeah.
Like
and again, if your family can keep these in the freezer for a whole year, you DM us, because I want to know this, because they're so delicious that they go fast. All right, so I just put it in the little food prep thing. I'm just going to blitz it up. Take your spatula, kind of scoop the sides. You know what? And while I get this going, Maya's gonna take
the chocolate.
And she's gonna microwave it. This is where you're gonna see Maya and I differ. I'm very old school, and I don't even own a microwave. So when Maya's like, well, can't we just microwave it? I was like, I guess. I just put it over a double boiler and I melt it. Otherwise, you can just pop it in the microwave and melt your chocolate too. It's going to turn out the same way. So work whatever.
And if you're doing 20 ounces, I would do it in half batch in the microwave, a big bowl. People think that you can't put metal in a microwave. You can actually put, if your bowl is stainless steel, you can put it in the microwave, or you can put it in a glass bowl like this. Stainless steel tends to heat a little bit more consistently, so I use a stainless steel bowl when I'm melting my chocolate. Put the power on 70, 75%, 80. Don't have it on full power, and do little, like 45 seconds, and then stir it. 45 seconds, stir it, and take it out right when it looks a little lumpy, because when you continue to stir, the heat in the chocolate will continue to melt the chocolate, and you don't want burnt chocolate. You can't. You can't bring it back. It smells. It tastes bad. Your chocolate is ruined. So we will now melt the chocolate.
Yep. I'm gonna keep just getting this a little smoother while Maya does that. Who knew that you could put stainless steel?
You can.
So once the chocolate gets melted, then we will just drop what we have here in the food processor into the bowl and combine the chocolate and the creamy avocado. As you can see, it's nice and smooth. There's really, what you want to achieve is no chunks in it.
See? I just microwaved it.
So you guys, what you may not have heard too was Maya gave me another little tip. She said you don't stir your chocolate with a plastic spatula. And why?
Because then it may take on the taste of whatever you used before. Chocolate is a very finicky ingredient. If you freeze these or put these in the refrigerator next to onions or something like that, they will kind of like almost like a sponge take up the smell and taste of the onion.
The chocolate's melted, the avocado is ready to go.
And like, what kid, other than this part, because it's sharp, wouldn't love to get all up in here?
Yeah, absolutely. And use what chocolate you have on hand. This does not need, this is not a, I have to go to the grocery store to get all my ingredients. Use what you have.
We used
Here, I got
the chocolate.
I have Ghirardelli chocolate chips.
Right.
These work perfectly.
Yep.
And these are dark chocolate ones. If your family is not a fan of dark chocolate, use semi-sweet.
Yeah, and that's actually, those are dark chocolate. These are just regular morsels that I bought, you know, the giant bag from Costco, the Kirkland brand.
Perfect.
So my kids eat these by the handfuls.
So I'm going to start to incorporate this, and as you start to stir it, it's going to start to stiffen just a little. And I just blend it all together. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually just pop this bowl into the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. And what I like to do is I stir it every 5 to 10 minutes. I just keep giving it a little stir because I don't want it to get rock hard, because then it's too difficult to actually form them into the balls. I want to get this when it's just starting to get stiff. It may still seem a little tacky to you, but it makes rolling the balls super easy, and they firm up really quickly then.
And look at this, it looks like chocolate.
Yeah.
You can't tell that there's avocados in here at all. Let's say you're doing this, you stir it, and you have to go somewhere, you have to go to work, pick up the kids, drive them to 500 different events, or walk the dog, or whatever, you know, thousands of things we have to do, and you're gonna leave it in the refrigerator overnight or whatever. Make sure you put saran wrap and press the saran wrap all the way down onto the chocolate. That way your chocolate won't form this kind of gross gelatinous skin.
Yeah.
And you do that, and then sometimes I even put it in an airtight container, but it will be fine if it just has the saran wrap on it.
Yep, and if you can't get to it in 30 minutes, let it sit on the counter. Let it come back up to kind of room temperature so that you can work with it and form your balls that way. And one other little piece of advice is when you are serving these for a party, do not tell everybody that they are dark chocolate avocado truffles, because you'll have no takers.
Right.
This is something you just say, I've made some truffles.
Truffles. And
we'll never know.
Exactly.
So I'm going to pop this in the fridge. Welcome back. The chocolate has actually set up.
Oh, it has.
So it is perfect. Right now you can see the consistency. It's stiff. And you can kind of just get your spatula through it. So it kind of looks like thick frosting. And I like rolling them at this point the best. So you have lots of, this would be a large truffle, not recommended. I have various scoops, like I have a scoop like this that you can insert it. This is one where you can scoop it and it has a rubber base. So you know sometimes when you get it stuck in there, you can push it out. Or you can just simply use a spoon. So you can take a spoonful.
And this is the great time. This is it for the kids.
For the kids. And you just start rolling it into the shape you want. And then you can put it into whatever you want. So we have lots of different toppings here. This is just cocoa powder. So you can start to just...
And what's nice about the cocoa powder is, if you can see it on Christy's hands, it also makes your hands not so sticky. So it's easier to roll. So if you know you're gonna have the cocoa powder, that's what I usually start with, because you can then always add on top of it, because sometimes it gets a little sticky.
Yeah. So this has just, I mean, I'll have Maya even give it a shot. This has just really sitting here. We pulled it out of the refrigerator after 10 minutes.
Yeah, it wasn't even long.
And it wasn't. And it's already starting.
Right. And then you just pop it in the fridge when it gets too, when it gets a little too soft, you know?
And these are ones that I had made ahead of time, and it's nice because sometimes you just don't have time to roll. You just want to make the truffles real quick. You can microwave these for like 5 seconds, and they'll warm them slightly, and then you can make your little balls again, and then start coating them too.
Yeah, and you know, you can get tons of different things, you know. This is when I set it out for the kids. I find the best sprinkles in Amish grocery stores. They have tons of baking decorations. And all these little things, so I bought those are like moons and stars, you know, whatever. So I tend to pick them up. The great thing is that the kids are going to have a wonderful time doing this. If it's really warm outside, of course our garbage truck is coming right now. If it's warm outside, put your hands under cold water or have them hold some ice cubes for a second. It helps a lot with the chocolate not melting. Chocolate melts very quickly, 72 degrees generally, so it doesn't take much.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you're giving it a little friction. So here's some melting chocolate. This one I used is actually the Ghirardelli melting chocolate. What's nice about this is you want to throw that in there?
Sure.
Or is it still okay? And what's nice about it is that the chocolate is already tempered once, which we will talk about in a different episode. See, now I have to use my fork. I can't do the finger thing all the time. And I'm doing the dishes here anyway, because you're going to work. So I use the Ghirardelli chocolate because it's already tempered, and when this dries, it'll dry nice and shiny. It won't be, because if you don't bring your chocolate up to temper, that's when it looks kind of dusty and chalky, like the chocolate chips do.
Mm-hmm.
So this has not been brought up to temper, which is the second point of melting. This has. If your kids want to add some eyes to something, use the chocolate like glue. Chocolate works great like glue. You know, they can play around with this, do whatever. And I have done this for my kids when they have parties at school. Obviously, you don't do the nut ones then, but take it, and the kids are so proud of themselves. You know, you can buy these googly eyes. I got these at the grocery store. I know they have them at Michael's in their cake decorating. So check out that aisle because that's super cool. If your kids are into different sports or whatever, they can throw that on. And then you can make monster hair and all sorts of really cool things. Tubes of frosting and they can, you know, make monster hair. It looks very fancy, and then you even tell the teacher, hey, but they're made out of avocados.
Yeah.
And they get super excited because, you know, their kids aren't going to be on this sugar high.
And at the beginning of the episode, Maya and I had a beautiful plate arranged. We've kind of torn it apart. But some other things that I rolled them in is we had cinnamon here. This is just cocoa powder. And then this is actually curry powder. Curry works great with chocolate. So you can experiment with other kind of spices or powders to roll with too. Matcha makes a beautiful green coating on your truffles.
Right.
Or different nuts, pistachios, cashews,
Anything.
almonds, anything.
Yeah. Just, you know, chop them up. And what's nice is that if you are having a party, you can sort of have a kid platter and more of an adult platter, you know, for the adults to try the different spices and all that.
And they're great to just box up and give away as gifts.
That's true. You can put them in these little cups, you know, and for different, you know, if you're celebrating some graduation, do it in the colors of the graduation, or a football game, or, you know, some other holiday. Super easy. Put 4 in a box and it looks like a really nice gift.
And that's great.
Yeah. So what are we going to do the next time?
I think for our next one we should do chocolate chip cookies. That is an all-time classic.
Everybody loves chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, and Maya has a few tips and tricks that she's going to share with you. So you'll definitely want to catch that episode.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us.
Yep, thank you for joining us on this episode of The Sweet Science of Chocolate, where everything we talk about is chocolate. All of these recipes are available on our blog and website, The Sweet Science of Chocolate.
If you are inspired to make any of this, any of our chocolate avocado truffles, tag us, let us know what you're doing so we can see all the fun stuff and maybe give us some inspiration. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We have a blog. All of those are down below in the comments section, as well as the recipe. And let us know if you want us to do something else. If there's some other recipe you want us to try, send us your recipes. We love getting recipes. We love experimenting with recipes. She likes to make them vegan and more healthy. I prefer the heavy cream.
Thank you and have a great day.
Cheers. And remember,
Everything tastes better with chocolate.
Very good.
Yeah.